Zach and Jake bringing the heat. Funny sports talking every week. Diving deep, leaving you laughing out. Last week's show, what a blast. Pete hates Tom Izzo. It happened so fast, but we keep it cool, we keep it light, bringing the funny every night. Flurry Sports Podcast, we're taking you higher, talking sports with a comedic fire. Join the fever, jump into the mix. Zach and Jay, Flurry Sports, let's get our fix.
Ingrid Michaelson, what are you doing here? Wow, it's pretty good. Pete, shout out
Pete, honestly. And there's a second verse. It builds on it a little bit more. So again, vote for your favorites by going to the Flurry Sports YouTube channel and listening to the theme songs. You can like it, you can comment to boost the views there and boost the votes. Last week's with the what was last week's? It was the Jazz one. The Jazzy Open. That's the front runner so far. And that one's a banger too, to be completely honest.
I might prefer last week's, but this was good.
Different vibes for sure. Depends on the day. This one's a very cutesy. I typed in like cute ukulele girl. Like that's all I want. I want her to sing about us. And dare I say, I didn't even tell her about Pete. She just knew. Everyone's heard how much Pete disdained for Tom Izzo. Incredible stuff.
I've had a lot of dreams over the years. If we could get Pete and Tom Izzo in the same room,
what would happen if we just had Tom Izzo sitting at our grandparents' kitchen table and Pete walks in? Would Pete leave? What would he do?
I think Pete would try to hold him accountable, which is crazy. But it's like he's a peer. Like I don't think my dad's like that's a famous basketball coach. I think my dad would be like, "You're really doing a disservice to the youth." Like, okay, let him have it.
Yeah, I think he'd give him a stern talking to. If it was Fran McCaffrey, as I think found out, I think Pete would leave. That's the one where Pete would flee. Like he couldn't handle it.
That's true. That is so interesting. I'm sorry to take us on a dividend already, but CJ Stroud's like the first athlete. We're in an age of athlete now where I'm like, if CJ Stroud was like, did something stupid, he like hit a fire hydrant or something, I wouldn't be like, hey, $1 million quarterback CJ Stroud, do what you want. I feel like if that was JJ Watt, I wouldn't talk to him. I'm like, oh my God, it's JJ.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud did something stupid. I'd be like, hey, come on, man. You're young. You got to like I feel like I could give millionaire CJ Stroud some wisdom.
I mean, do it with Rashee Rice right now. Like, did you have to drive that fast, Rashee? Where were you going? Did you know that if you drive 100 miles an hour versus 60, did you get to your destination faster? Don't think so, because you got in a car crash. Maybe you should think.
I don't know. I had that epiphany when like Deuce Vaughn got drafted because I talked to him one time at K-State. So sorry, it's a random poll, but he's just literally a student I had. Okay. And like I'm not starting something scandalous. I never had to meet with him or anything like that. I just spoke to him one time.
What did Deuce Vaughn do?
He didn't do anything, no conduct issues. But I could have. And that was the moment where I was like, I'm having conduct meetings with NFL players.
The dynamic. that is Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito.
Yeah. That is
different. He's a small man.
Yeah.
Small boy.
Very small. Very small. It is one of those where it's like, that was my interaction with him was I was talking to people on the football team because they all lived in one spot on campus and like he was one of them. But it was like, he doesn't look like the real athlete there. He's in the NFL. I was wrong,
True. It was Skylar Thompson who was destined for greatness. And
see, I couldn't say shit to Skylar Thompson. Like he's got a couple years on me. Like, what am I going to do? Hey, Skylar, that one girl's feeling a little left out. That's my only interaction with Skylar.
Hey, people forget he started an NFL playoff game.
I really thought we had something. I thought he was about to ascend to another level, and I'm like, I've got someone who like has him in their cell phone.
There's time. There's time. Never know. It's especially true. With Tua there. Welcome back to the Flurry Sports Podcast. Season 8. What a season, and what a time in sports. It's been a weird few weeks.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, we went from WrestleMania. We went from March Madness to WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. This past weekend was UFC 300, which we'll talk about. NBA regular season's done. That kind of snuck up on me. And
Hockey
NHL
playoffs.
Yeah, they're all here. Weird that the NBA regular season's done and the playoffs don't start for a week. Don't like that. We got like 2 play-in games this week. Okay, maybe that means we should get rid of them. It's just a weird, like, old take. Maybe that's a weird spacing. But then all of a sudden, NFL draft is in a couple weeks, and it's on NFL season again. It's crazy.
That's so true. I've said this for a long time. I hate the gap between the combine and the draft.
Yeah, it's weird. Theoretically, it's a very important time for other sports, but it is the quietest for NFL stuff.
That's what I like. Every year I feel tricked by the combine.
Yeah, that's true. Combine always sneaks up. It's always like, oh, that's next
draft time. Wrong.
Nothing. Yeah, draft time. No, it is just people lying about players in a weird way. It's just like, oh, he flipped off a homeless person. Like, no, he didn't. He gave him Burger King. It's like there's a million different stories. None of them actually matter. None of them are true.
They're trying to say something about 200 people, 100 of which they don't care about.
Yeah.
And in the middle of that is March Madness. So it's like truly the only time of the year where everyone's fixated on sports besides maybe the Super Bowl.
True.
That's so true. Everyone's in, and then it's like, what's next? And to your point, it's like, it's the draft. And then I guess like the best time for a couple of sports, but like, I don't know, who cares? I don't know. As folks know, like, I'm a baseball fan, so that is sustaining me. Oh, shout out to WWE, by the way. This was the bit I wanted to say. They are capitalizing on the NFL draft because same week, Zach, is, of course, the WWE draft. They announced we moved it this year. They moved it to the NFL draft so they could capitalize on draft fever. 2 thoughts. 2 thoughts. Okay. Thought number 1. By the way, these thoughts contradict each other. So Perfect. Be ready for that. Thought number 1. How haven't we thought of this before? The fact we had to move it to the date. Like, we haven't done that before. Like, oh, wow. Like, I love the idea that came up in a board meeting for the first time. 2, opposite side of the spectrum. I like that they think that what we love about the draft is the concept itself.
Love drafting things.
It's not the NFL. It's like, it is draft season. You're right.
It's feeling drafty in here. That's what somebody said in the boardroom.
Everyone's doing it. We better do one.
Has anyone heard of this new hit show, The Ranking Show? They just ranked all the WrestleMania matches. They talked about they might do drafts. What if we did drafts? That's crazy.
That's true. Oh, wow. Wrestler draft. Can't wait. But I mean, it is draft fever. It's draft season. But Zach, this weekend, it was fight season. UFC 300. Dana White somehow both thrilled for this event and over it. That's the only buildup I saw was in his press conferences. He looks done a little bit.
Well, I can tell you why I feel like he was just not loving it. Well, 2 things. 1, unfortunately, in honor for UFC 300, he upped the fight bonuses to $300,000.
Correct. Yeah.
Dana White loves paying his fighters. So I'm sure he was super jacked about that. And then
the most begrudging clip you'll ever see, by the way.
Yeah. And 2, I'm not sure if you saw, we'll talk about UFC 300. Jake didn't get to watch it. I watched every second. So I'll take him through it. But did you see any shots of Dana like during the event?
Yeah, just kind of looking like, ugh.
Do you know who was next to him?
No.
He sat, this will explain everything, I think. He sat next to Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh my God. How unpleasant.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently, at least it happened with Max Holloway, I guess. Zuckerberg went to the locker room like before his fights and stuff, and he gifted him one of those new glasses things. So I assume he was introducing himself, giving glasses to every fighter right before their fight, and them just not wanting him in there. I guess he's just so weird. There's times where, fighters jump the cage to talk to Dana afterwards, and Mark is like trying to like inch himself closer to like shake their hand too, and they always ignore him. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It was weird the whole time.
That's bad vibes. That's like, he's a weirdo. That's not a hot take, but it's like, it is kind of like Dana White is like asshole level of rich, where it's like, he's got fuck you money. Mark Zuckerberg has ambivalent levels of money.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
I wouldn't
not
care
even-
about anything either. I'd be weird as hell if I had that much money.
Correct, but he's trying to appear not weird, which makes him more weird. Because now he's like super into fighting and he wants to fight, which is weird. Like he's gonna go try to box Max Holloway, like in training and stuff, and Max Holloway has to let him win. Like he can't just hit him in the face and kill him. Like that doesn't work. There was that infamous grilling video where he had like, he's like, I'm the king of barbecue, and he had like Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Like, yeah, everybody loves Sweet Baby Ray's. I get it, but
which obviously isn't true. Vince Wilfork is the king of barbecue.
Yeah, come on. We all know that. Pick a different lane. He's got it figured out.
It's true.
But yeah, so Mark Zuckerberg was there. Lots of stuff with him. That was weird. There was another moment that was odd. They flashed to the different celebrities or whatever in the crowd, and they flashed Valentina Shevchenko, who we love, the Bullet. She's a monster.
Yeah.
Who do you think she was there with? She was there, it's seemingly on a date with an NFL player. I'll even say a quarterback. Who would you think that quarterback is?
Okay, I mean, badass. So I'm going to go a little off the rails, but I let's say someone Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, interesting. Like tough guy-ish, right?
Yeah,
like
cool. He seems chill. Yeah, like he's got game.
For sure. Not him. Let's go even smaller. I believe smaller than Valentina.
Not Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. And he tweeted out like the picture of them together.
Yeah.
And he tweeted out like, my girlfriend can beat you up or something with hearts. And then he just got roasted. Like, brother.
My girlfriend beats me up. That's what he meant. That's wild. I will say the only thing there, God, that's so Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a UFC fighter who loved COD, Valentina's
I mean,
up there.
that's true, actually. Yeah.
She loves COD. There's no doubt in my mind. So it's like
Her
that checks out.
Pena. I can see Pena being like super into it.
Yeah. I mean, Patty, the baddie.
I mean, yeah, I just meant like the girl fighters.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he can date Patty. That's fine. No shame.
So thank you. Good save. We're allies. Yeah. You can date it.
He's
but
British.
That is wild. It, like I almost went like I was like, I didn't know if you were going the small route. So I would have never guessed him. I was like in my head, I'm like, God, if it's weird. Fucking Mitch Trubisky,
that would have made more sense to me. It was one of those things where I was looking
Andrew
at
Luck.
Kyler Murray. Andrew Luck. I was just looking at Kyler Murray and just confused. Like, that's not Kyler Murray. Like, I believe they had like the name thing that popped up, like Valentina Shevchenko. I don't think they did that with Kyler Murray. I was like, that's not Kyler Murray. There's no shot she's with Kyler Murray. But I mean,
it was him.
Lo and behold, twas him. But let's just talk about this, because this was billed as the greatest fight card of all time for a long time before it was created.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like biggest fight card of all time. This is going to be the greatest thing of all time. And then everybody was assuming like McGregor, John Jones.
So that was my takeaway. But not going to lie, one of the reasons I didn't like go out of my way to watch it was because I kind of thought the narrative was going to be, like they didn't get the fighters they wanted. Like, I think there was talk of Jones and like some ridiculous, like we're going to get Francis back. Those were some of the ridiculous ones. Cormier's going to fight. Lesnar will be back. Like, it's like,
that was rumored, Brock.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, no, we just got some fights that apparently delivered, but they just looked like they'd be good fights.
I'm not sure of the
No Adesanya.
No Adesanya. He was there, but he's still on his break that he announced, but he'll be back. He's got to be away so he can have a return, essentially. But
he waits till 400.
Maybe he might. But it was, I don't know the inside baseball stuff with McGregor. I'm not sure if that was ever truly considered. I know they wanted John Jones. I believe he's hurt. So the main event was Pereira versus Hill. And truthfully, even I'm a really big fight fan. I'm just like, I like them both. It's going to be fine. But the overall top end didn't really impress me. but just the amount, like, you know, every person on the card.
Correct.
Like, just to the point of the very first fight of the night in the early prelims was Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt, like two longtime fighters that everybody knew. And they said this multiple times, but it kind of was true. Every fight could have been a main event for something, at least like a typical fight night. It would have been a main event. So
Holly
that was
Holm
huge.
was on this card.
Yeah. And she was the sacrificial lamb. That was one of my favorite fights of the night, I will say. But just to talk about how the fights went, like, it was billed great. Looking at the card, it looked great on paper. But then we had 2 finishes in the early prelims. 3 out of the 4 fights in the prelims were finishes. And then the main card, we had 3 more finishes. So that was crazy. A lot of electricity there. The only fight that was a unanimous decision on the early prelims, that was Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. Bobby Green's an animal. I think you would recognize him. Jim Miller, for those who don't know, he has the most fights in the UFC. He fought on UFC 100 with Brock Lesnar.
That's insane.
I believe his first UFC fight was 2008. Like, he
just some love for
insane.
Like being a lightweight for that long.
And he looks good. Like, I don't think he's close to done, right? But like, I don't think this was his last fight. I think he's got multiple left. Like, I think he's pushing for 50 total UFC fights.
Oh, Marina lost.
I know. But so I mean, he lost. By the way, Jim Miller, he lost. He got the shit kicked out of him. But it is what it is. Other fights that were notable though: Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. So Holly Holm, obviously longtime fighter. You know her, veteran. Here's the talks going in. Holly Holm's a massive underdog.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who Kayla Harrison is?
No clue. Good
So
record.
she's an Olympic gold medalist in judo, I believe. So she just started to get into MMA. This is her first UFC fight, and she came in as a big favorite. She is so big. Like, her arms are insanely massive, and she's actually good on the mic. Like, her promo work is very, very good. So you need to go watch her. And she just manhandled Holly Holm. And to the point where she locked the choke in on Holly Holm, and Holly was just looking for an out the entire fight. You could tell. Like, she didn't really get choked. She just tapped right away. But Kayla Harrison's going to be the next women's champion. Like, this was her first fight, and you can just tell, like, that's coming. But go watch that. Aljamain Sterling was also a prelim. He switched weight classes. He looks massive now. That was the worst fight of the night with him. I hate him, but he just kind of laid on the guy and, did whatever. Yuri Prochaska fought Rakic. Yuri got his leg broken, essentially. And like, he just didn't try to defend a leg kick whatsoever. And he couldn't put any weight on his leg. And then he just kind of survived until he saw a little opening, and then it just went crazy and knocked the guy out. It was stupid. Doesn't make sense. That was great. Now we're just on the main card now. That was everything before the main card. That was all free fights. So you can go back and watch that on ESPN Plus. Go do that. Truthfully, go do that. Every fight was a banger. Bo Nickel. Have you seen Bo Nickel fight yet?
Yes, correct.
So he's like the guy, like the way they initially started to promote Patty the Batty, like they wanted him to be the next big thing, and it just didn't work because he didn't get any better. They're trying to do the same thing with Bo Nickel now. He only fights on pay-per-view main cards. He's billed as the biggest babyface of all time, all-American wrestler out of Penn State, and fans hate him.
I saw him in Woodburn. I was like, what fight did I see? Yeah.
Okay.
The last one.
He got his start on Dana White's Contender Series, and he won so fast that Dana White made him do another fight. I think he won both of his fights in a combined 2 minutes. He's just an insane wrestler, insane submission artist. So he's still trying to win over fans because people think he's overhyped, or they just are mad that he's getting put to the front of the line. Right. So same thing with like wrestling. You see that happen all the time.
Yeah.
He, in his speech afterwards, in his promo afterwards, talked about how, like, I'm going to win you guys over. But what I think is going to go a long way, he didn't fight that great. He still won in the second round. He choked him out. but immediately after the fight, he booed himself, which is a great move.
Yeah.
That's a very good move. And I think that's going to get him some points. I think fight fans are stupid, but like that's good. They're going to be like, oh, okay. So he understands. That's all the people want. They just want self-awareness, I think.
I think so. And I also think they're loyal, which I appreciate, but I think this is savvy by the U. We've been saying that for years. I think UFC's big thing is they need to be better at telling stories. A piece of that, which I hadn't really thought of, they've got to earmark guys earlier.
Yeah.
So that you don't catch them so at the tail end of like, think of how great Usman was. And it's like, we didn't have him for that long.
True. That's true.
And you can name a million guys who did that, but
100%. Bo Nickel also always comes out to John Bellion. So it points to you for you.
That's why I started watching him. Yeah. I was going to say, you told me he came out to Bellion.
Yeah. And he did again. So he's billed as his ultimate babyface. He's treated as it. He acts like it. He's very religious, feeds into that good old boy. But then he also has this sense of cockiness that I love it. It's going to win people over. He thought he fought bad. He booed himself, but he was happy because he finally got to the second round. Because he's never lost. He always wins in the first round. But that's his grain of salt. He's like, I finally got to the second round just to prove I could do it. Like, okay, buddy. But that's going to be good. That's going to be good. Next fight, Charles Oliveira lost. That's all you need to know. Love it. Hate him. I don't know anybody who likes Charles Oliveira. He just looks like the most unlikable person of all time.
He sucks.
Is that fair?
Yeah, he's like both a nerd and a dick. Like I don't know any way to describe it except like victim complex on like a million.
He's also had all those things where like he gets out of fights because he pulls out of fights because he's hurt. He missed weight that one time. And it's just like by a ton, just irresponsible. Like, I don't know. I don't like him whatsoever. Now we're here. So we're in the final 3 fights. The biggest fight of the night. Even coming in, like this is the fight everyone had circled. So this is, and the final 3 fights are championship fights too, by the way. We got Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway.
Which was always going to bang.
Always going to bang. These two are killers. Max Holloway went up a weight class to do it. And it's for the BMF title. Do you know anything about the BMF title?
Correct. Yeah, it's the belt. I think Diaz held it for a while, and then flying knee guy. Can't remember Masvidal. One trick pony. But like basically it's the hardcore title of UFC.
Yeah.
It's for dudes who kind of want to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. So I can't remember who he fought. It might have been Pettis or something. But it was afterwards in the promo, Nate Diaz, or maybe it was before it. I don't know. It might have been the press conference before. Nate Diaz was like, we're fighting for the baddest motherfucker title, man. Like he's just being Nate Diaz. And that's how this got started. Like cool. He's the one they're like, oh yeah, we should do that. And then he fought Jorge Masvidal. And that was the first official BMF title fight. And he lost to Masvidal. That was a bullshit fight. 4 years later, it was Gaethje and Poirier. That was the most recent one. Gaethje just beat Poirier. That was a big deal. Yeah. And then now we got Gaethje Holloway. Gaethje seemingly doesn't protect himself ever.
Yeah.
He is your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. He just goes in there and swings. He doesn't have a bad fight. Like he's just always extremely exciting. Max Holloway is very similar. He's a more of a boxer. Obviously, they're just both going to stand up and swing. He's a noose, which I love. But I mean, Gaethje's my favorite fighter. So we knew it was going to be fireworks. We knew they were going to get the shit kicked out of each other. For this fight, it kind of sucks. And by the way, I should say this, I guess. So it's a 5-round fight because it's a title fight. The fight ended 4 minutes and 59 seconds into the final round, which means there's 1 second left in the fight. It ended in knockout. So absolutely insane. What happened was Holloway did like this weird kick to the face of Gaethje at the end of round 1, like as the
Yeah.
buzzer went, and broke his nose.
Correct.
So like he couldn't breathe the whole time. His mouth was open, blah, 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 blah. Gaethje kept kicking Holloway's leg, and essentially Holloway also doesn't protect himself from leg kicks. So he couldn't really walk, but he didn't matter because he's a tough motherfucker. But they're just beating the shit out of each other the entire time. And then 10 seconds left, Holloway points to the center of the ring. They both go in there and just start swinging. And then with 1 second left, Holloway has the cleanest, most insane knockout of all time, just a punch straight to Gaethje's face. And Gaethje folds over on himself and is just dead in the ring. It was picture perfect, insane. People are saying it's the biggest knockout of all time. There's weird leg kick knockouts that feel more insane, but just with the way the fight went, with the way this was billed, it was just insane. It was the craziest knockout of all time. And this might be my favorite fight of all time. So if you're able to go back and watch it, you have to watch this fight.
And I think it's a good doorway because Gaethje's got a million fights you can go watch from here. And honestly, I had just looked it up because I was like, I know I love Holloway, but I can't remember. It's Holloway Volkanovski. If you haven't seen any of the Holloway Volk fights, and I was going to say, so this, for the record for folks, is the only fight I was able to watch. I told Zach beforehand, I didn't realize it was this fight because if you've seen one of these two guys fight, the only thing I will say was that could have been any of their fights. Like there's just a moment where all shit breaks loose, but it was the best version of it. I'm not dissing it, but I was like, I mean, classic Gaethje. And then I was like, oh, it's this weekend. But like fun to see Holloway like get the win. Cause it's like, I think for years, Holloway and Gaethje a little bit, but he had a shine for a while, especially off of Poirier. But like Holloway kind of seemed like really great fight in a loss was kind of his vibe for a while.
Well, okay, this is the thing. So coming in, both of them are former champions, by the way. It feels like Max is older than he is, but I think he's only like 32. He's younger than Gaethje. But the whole thing was Gaethje was the number one contender for his weight division. Mm-hmm. But he didn't get the fight for the title because Islam was supposed to fight Oliveira, and Oliveira pulled out of the fight, which delayed it. So then Gaethje didn't get the title shot because that got delayed because Oliveira is a stupid bitch. Yeah. So, and then on the other, so Gaethje truly had nothing to win in this fight other than pride. It was going to be a big, obviously, shit ton of money. But coming in, he's fighting somebody out of the weight class for nothing. Max has been kind of fading away. Yeah. Just because he kept running into Volkanovski.
Correct. So which, as we should all know, heaven help you if you run into Volkanovski.
No shit. Yeah, so he had those 2 losses against Volkanovski. So it's like Max essentially was like, okay, I'm competing for the number one contender shit. You know what I mean? Like he was never competing for the title again because waiting for Volkanovski to lose it, and he's just going to lose to Volk. But Max, I think, vaults back to relevancy. He went up a weight division and he looks very, very good. So I think he proves that he can fight in that weight division as well. So, and he gets the BMF title, and they got, I think, $600,000 each maybe in fight bonuses on top of what they made. So those two guys should ton of money. Next fight, China versus China. First time ever for a title.
That is crazy. Can I ask you one last question about Holloway?
Yeah.
Just check the rankings, and it's too early to tell. But this is, I like when UFC stumbles into bookings like this. Is the next fight going to be Volkanovski-Tapura? Or is it going to be, does Volk get to fight Holloway next for a number one contender?
It sounds like Max is going to fight Ilya Tapura, which is what we all want. Like, right. He's a killer. But
when I like that. I like that because now I have what I'm hoping for, which not that I don't love Max, but I hope Max wins. And it's like the dream of my life. Who do I fight next? And then the world's angriest Australian comes back. Yeah, which I love. I
like it too.
Yeah, you can't beat him.
But they showed Ilya in the crowd afterwards, and he just looks so I mean, rightfully so. He kind of looks so disinterested. Like he doesn't want to fight Holloway.
And
He
I don't
doesn't
want to
wanna
look
lose.
over Ilya. Ilya's probably going to win that fight. I would love an Ilya Volk
It'll be
rematch
crazy.
too, but all good. All right, I distracted from China v China, but it's going to be killer to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the first time ever someone from China fought another person from China in the UFC for a title. Zhang Weili, if you've never seen her fight, she is a psychopath. She is
so good.
She might be the scariest fighter to me in the UFC. She scares the shit out of me. She looks like she's built in a lab. She takes nothing seriously during the intros. Like she's screaming while Bruce Buffer is saying her name. She's so scary. And then I think her name is Yan Xiaonan. I think that's how you say her name. She's great. Like it was just like, oh, okay, so she's gonna run into Zhang Weili. And it was also kind of built like she wanted to be friends with Zhang Weili. And Zhang Weili's like, it's just business. I'm just gonna beat the shit out of her. Like, what are you? Why you want to be friends? We're not friends. I'm gonna kill you. That's all it is. The fight starts. This fight's insane. Xiaonan took her down. Took down Weili, which everyone's just like, didn't think that could even happen. Like, what's even happening right now? Like, we actually have a fight. And then Zhang Weili starts doing her thing. And she locks in a choke with like 15 seconds left of the first round, possibly. And these Asian fighters, dude, are different. It's terrifying. So she's getting choked out. She cannot get out. And then she hears the claps for 10 seconds left of the round. And she just makes a decision that she's going to last through it. Like, I'm just going to wait until the end of the round and then I'm going to be good. And okay. And then, the horn sounds like, okay, cool. She somehow lasted. She didn't tap. And then Zhang Weili lets go. And Yan is out cold.
It's crazy.
Like, so the fight should have probably been done. But then she kind of flopped over. She came to, stood up, stumbled. But then she kind of just stood up in a way where it's like, if you watch Last of Us, like you see like, or any zombie thing, you see somebody you recognize, but something's off. Like their spirit's not there, but it's just a shell of their body. That's what it was. And she just stared blankly. Like nothing was behind her eyes. It was just her body reacting to stand up. And then they had to help her to the corner, like show her where to, because she just stood there blankly, not knowing what to do. They get her to the corner. And then the cut man was like, I can wake her up if you want me to. But
never asked the cut man to do that, by the way.
The commentators are just talking though, like about what's happening. Like, oh, that was insane. That was crazy. And then Daniel Cormier is like, wait, the cut man just said, I can wake her up if you want me to. And then put smelling salts under her nose. And then the Joe Rogan's like, that's illegal. You can't do that. Like that you cannot do that. That's she's disqualified. Like, what are we even doing? And then they had to come back later and say, so Daniel Cormier is just sabotaging the UFC here by saying that out loud, by the way. Like, check. You should check, maybe. I guess he just poked her nose to open her airwaves, and that woke her up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably something nefarious happened. Maybe. But so she came out and she kept fighting and it was fine. And she even took down Weili a couple more times. She made it to the end. It went to decision. But that was in Weili won, obviously. Yeah. But that was an insane fight. Somehow was worth watching despite the final scoring of it. It looks completely one-sided. And it kind of was. But just the fact you're like, I kind of just watched her die. And like I was saying before, I've seen Asian fighters multiple times now. They never tap when they're getting choked.
No.
They just get choked out and they go unconscious.
And looking, this is the weakest of the women's divisions, I think, just from my brief knowledge of them. And sure. It's close, but I think Yan does enough there to make it interesting for a rematch, which is killer for like just a butt whooping on score,
Right. Yeah. It was just insane. And so we came off the craziest fight ever. That first round was insane because she's out cold. And then now we get to the main event, which is Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. and the theatrics coming in was great. Jamal Hill wanted to wait outside the cage for Perea to come. They're like trying to get him inside the cage and he wouldn't do it. Perea's walkouts kind of psychotic. Like he walks with his fists up like this and it's terrifying. And he does all that shit. This match was over in a minute 45.
Oh God. Yeah. That looks like it.
But in the best way possible. So they're fighting. Nothing's really happening. Jamal Hill kicks Perea in the dong. And then the ref steps in and Perea's like, no, get out of here. Like, I'm fine. Move. And then maybe 10 seconds later, straight to Hill's face, knocks him out cold dead.
Yeah.
Like, what just happened? We're like, everyone's losing their fucking
Made
mind.
him
Like,
stronger.
It was like, just get the fuck out of the way. I know what's happening. I know what I'm doing. But that fight too was like, what the reason it was so great was Jamal Hill never lost his title. He got injured, so he had to vacate his title. Perea came into the weight division, took the title. So it kind of was champion versus champion. Who's going to be the true champion? And usually when a fight's over in a minute for the main event, I'm always disappointed. But that kind of truly was the cherry on top of that event. It was the greatest UFC card of all time. It somehow lived up to it.
Well, and like you said, a good card in any combat sport, it has variety. And I think the nice part there, which we've seen like cards before where it's like, God, like you kind of have to compete for attention. It's just which fight has the biggest stars in it. But I like that it was like the way it came out is like that final fight sounds like it was awesome, but it also wasn't going to compete with Gaethje Holloway for like the best knuckle fight. And I also think from the sounds of it to go like long fight, crazy knockout. The last three, I mean, it sounds like the whole card was great, but to go long, just unbelievable, brutal, best fight you'll ever watch, knockout to awesome decision to first round knockout is about as good as you can get it in terms of like what good pacing.
Right.
To like end as excited as possible.
And even the two fights before that, like Bo Nickel, we all knew was going to be a fast win. And then the Oliveira fight went to decision, but it was a split decision. So close fight. I didn't love it, but it was a close fight. It was a fine fight. Overall, pacing was great. There was a women's fight on each level, which I think is great.
The women's division, I mean, there are enough women now that I'm like genuinely excited to see all the time. I think they've made such good strides there.
Yeah, and they put over Kayla Harrison. Like, that's huge. So a newcomer put her over. There's people switching weight divisions, like Figueiredo switched weight divisions, looks great. Aljamain Sterling switched weight divisions, looks great. It was just truly, it was a masterclass. And the whole time I was thinking, so I'm happy you brought it up. Like we went from WrestleMania, we went to this. UFC 300 is a massive deal. Obviously, it was a big night. They planned it out to be a big night. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania still has some weird way of making it feel special.
Yeah.
And this one did feel special at points. They did, like, in between fights, they had a lot of flashback videos and stuff. And of course, I can't believe I waited till now to say it. They always announce for like big cards and stuff, like the fighter who's going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Chael Sonnen.
I mean,
so he got to stand up, give a nice little wave to the crowd. Got to, he found his camera, said one more for the bad guy. Like he did the whole thing. So he's the greatest of all time. I love Chael Sonnen.
The thing I love the most about Chael is how he's always tried so hard to be the heel. And the jig's up, Chael. Everyone likes you. You're not the bad guy. The only time he was the heel was when he was against literally the most likable man on the planet.
Correct. That's correct.
Ever since Wanderlei tried to kill you, you've been the good guy. Can't let you get close.
That Hall of Fame speech is going to be insane, though.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, the card had it all. I mean, we've talked before about what UFC needs to do. I think some of those things still hold true. Now, and this was kind of the meta for the show, I felt like coming out of it, which I thought was so interesting, which we talked about briefly before coming on air, which is these are the same company now. WrestleMania and UFC are both Endeavor products. So I'm so curious what the interaction between the two is. I told Zach I was a little surprised these two shows were so close to each other. Sincerely, and it sounds dumb, I feel like Dana is the type of person, because 99% of what he does as a business model has worked so well. He's so resistant to like little things, but it's truly the little things that would like just propel it to like the moon. Now that they're combined, just fucking call it UFC Mania. Like the week after WrestleMania is UFC Mania, and it's your biggest card of the year. Like, just don't call one of them a number.
Right. Yeah, that would be because I think even still during International Fight Week, I think they do call it a number, but you don't need, like, there's no point. You don't need to. It's your choice.
100%.
No one's gonna be like, actually, this we're on UFC 301 because UFC 300 was called something else. Like no one gives a fuck.
No, everyone was thrilled that WrestleMania went back to the numbers. Because before it was like whatever. Now they're finally 40, and we're like, thank God, I know what number it is. But before it was all the locations and stuff. That's all that people cared about. You know,
they still do that a little bit for like the fight night ones. Like they'll do UFC Ohio or whatever it is. But my really quick question. Shout out Ohio. Bring one to fucking Wisconsin, please. So AEW obviously had that. It was AEW, right? Where they had the UFC guys come and do stuff.
Correct. Yep.
Do you think WWE fans would be resistant if they started to do that?
I think only because it would smell a little bit of AEW. I think they've waited long enough. Now I think they'd be fine. I think for a while it would have either been to AEW or, to be honest, for a while, and I can't believe it hit that point, WWE fans were resistant to anything that felt Vince-like. Like the product was so good. It's like, why are we doing things that like detract from that? Now I've heard everyone be like, let's do more fun, stupid things. I'm like, okay, well, good. A little return to form. So now I think it would be good. My honest thing is WWE did that first. Like people that they fucking brought in Tito, you know, like
Tito, Ken Shamrock.
Yes. And some of those guys like Ken and Brock, you know, and Brock star in WWE, but it's like, Ronda, duh. Like as much shit as Ronda gets, she had good moments. Yeah, she's done. She also alleged some backstage stuff that was not good. So I'll be curious if she returns now. Not against Vince, but apparently against someone under.
Stop dogpiling on Vince.
Only for the sake that I can't keep up. How did he have that much time? Anyway, that's beyond the thing. It's, not saying he didn't. I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm just saying it's incredible, and I'm not that productive helping people. But I think all that to say, I think they'd be open to it, honestly. And this is where I think AEW brought in, like, in my opinion, kind of random ass people. Like big to UFC fans. I think WWE would love Logan Paul versus McGregor.
That'd be insane.
Or just McGregor. Like that's what they want. Can we get Jones? You know, like in like name whoever, but it's like
Nate Diaz. Can you imagine Nate Diaz and Connor in the WWE?
Well, you know what, Nate Diaz would be good. Give me freaking Nate Diaz versus Bully Ray. Or Bubba Ray, you know, like give me just Nate Diaz in a match where he can use a kendo stick.
God, I don't know who would actually want to fight Connor because I don't think you could trust him. I think he's going to go off book and he's going to.
Nate would accidentally hit somebody, not on purpose. Yeah. Oops, but
he would not even. It wouldn't even compute or like why that's a problem.
No,
put him with Gunther.
True. Who could is DC, could he do it at this point?
I think so. He's a bit, you know who would do it for sure?
Oh, DC showed up at something. I forgot he did that. He showed up in Arabia. Yeah.
Adesanya is a massive, massive fan. I feel like he could do something.
And he would do it. He would like
for
actually
sure. He'd be great.
He'd be good.
Colby.
Who'd you say?
Colby Covington.
Kobe Covington. You know who wouldn't actually do it, and it would kind of be interesting? Get Islam in there. Just run away. Just like, God, he doesn't know what's going on.
No, he has no clue what's happening right now.
Are you bear? Me wrestle bear growing
Or
up.
him or Kamzat Chimaev. Like, I smash everybody. Just beating the shit out of everyone. That'd be great.
True. Or fucking Shevchenko if we get Valentina in there.
Oh, God. Psycho.
I mean, I would take some though, but I think it's name value at this point for WWE. So they'll do something like that. I think what they should do, straight up, put Paul Heyman on a UFC guy. I think that's the kind of shit they should do. I think they should give spokespeople to certain folks.
That's true. I wonder if we're getting way into the weeds, but I wonder if like
That's
once
where we
he's
live,
done,
baby.
once he's done actually fighting, I wonder if CM Punk could be a voice box for somebody like that.
I think if I were CM Punk, I'd want to stay as far away from the MMA world as possible. I think not in a bad way, because I think people have clowned him too much for it's like he did it. He was an MMA fighter. Like I couldn't do that. But I feel like at this point now that he's come back, that's like I think going to be the joke people make of him for the next 20 years is you got fucking killed. So I think he's concerned enough about his image he wouldn't touch it. I mean, The Rock has done UFC stuff and would be great and could do stuff like that. LA Knight could do it. Like he's like 45, so he'll be done soon.
Yeah.
They should just do promo videos where Stone Cold talks about people.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be fine.
He's a bad son of a bitch. His name's Colby Covington.
God, I love Stone Cold. Okay, Jake, are you ready to play a game?
I'm so ready to play a game. Yeah.
Okay. This is the most well-developed game we've ever had. Basically. This, like I told you pre-show, this may last 5 minutes. This may last an hour. So buckle up, people.
70 miles an hour west.
And there's multiple ways we could play it. So I'll ask you after we start it, which is the best time to ask. So to start, though, name a number between, let's go 18 to 90, somewhere between there.
It's Jackie Robinson Day, 42.
42. So this is the game, Jake. And either we compete against each other or you have a number of guesses. You have to name an athlete who is 42 years old.
Okay.
And we could go back and forth if you would like. And, whoever does it first or whoever's closest at the end of a certain number of guesses, or I can give you 5 guesses and you got to get 42. Up to you. How do you want to play?
Give me a number of guesses.
Okay. So I'll get 42. I feel like is very doable. I'll give you 5 guesses. We'll just see where we're at.
5.
Okay?
So good. Okay. I've got 2 I feel pretty good about. Can I go any sport?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go with the 2 I know the best. So sorry, WWE or NBA. God, if I could pull a 42-year-old NBA player on my ass. But I'm going to go baseball because they get close to that, and football because they get close to that.
True.
So I'm going to start. I'm going to be mad if the obvious football one is 42. But I think I don't know why I'm being coy. This isn't my guess yet. I'm thinking out loud. Is Aaron Rodgers 41 or 42? I honestly think he's 41, but he's a good first guess. And
sure.
So I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I don't know. I think he's 41, but let's just see. Aaron Rodgers, 40.
Oh, and that's what I remembered was he turned 40, but I felt like that was centuries ago.
It does seem that way. Yeah.
Okay. If he's 40, now this is the game. Do I abandon and go to my list of baseball players that I know I could one of these fuckers is 42? But people who are slightly older than Aaron, I can do this. Is this shitty? I know what year he was drafted. So who was drafted in 03? And
Who
that's
indeed. Also, Aaron Rodgers drafted in 2005. But continue.
That's what I'm saying. 2 years older. That's what I'm going for.
Oh, true.
Don't make. I'm not an idiot. But okay. I mean, sometimes I am. My guess. What? No, don't do that. I almost guessed Ryan Leaf. What a dumb. Again, I can't.
Maybe.
No, he's the same age as Payne. I can't blow a guess on Ryan Leaf. 2 years older than Aaron. I'm gonna go Ben Roethlisberger.
Good guess. Can't blow another pick on Ryan Leaf, by the way. Can't do it.
It's draft fever. Not it!
Look at that. Easy
Big
as that.
Ben.
People. Jake, we're tied up. $10. Boom. You just got it. But do you want to go double or nothing with a number of my choosing?
And do I get to give you a range or you just name an age?
I'm going to name an age. I'm not going to do something ridiculous, but I'm just going to
name a player who's 112. Like name an infant.
Oh, no. How about this? I'm going to give you a number and then you have to say if you want to go double or nothing.
Oh, I like that. Same number of guesses?
Same number of guesses. 5.
Okay. By the way, I kind of hate that I picked Big Ben. Just want that on record. Can you just tell me before we look it up, because this was in my head? I settled on Big Ben because I could not remember if he was in the same draft class as, I feel like Phillip Rivers is also 42.
Ooh, yeah, he's gonna be right there.
Yeah.
Wow, also 42.
Should have gone.
Shout out Jackie Robinson Day.
Yeah, okay. That, by the way, 42 was a good number for me. I think that's my generation of quarterback. So there we go. Okay, you give me the number. What's the number that I could risk it all?
I'm gonna do one. Let's go interesting. I'm not gonna go super old because that's just throwing darts at that point. Let's go with 30.
That is not super old. That's correct.
Let's go 37.
I'll do that.
Okay, double or nothing. So if you lose, I don't get the money. It's just going to be you're still down 10.
But I'm still down 10. Correct. So there is a detriment here. Okay.
Yep.
37, you said?
37.
All right. I'm going baseball this time around because the 30s are tough for me in NFL.
Let's make it super interesting. Let's make it super, super interesting. I'm going to entice you a little bit. If you can name a 37-year-old NBA player, you win $30 instead of just the 20.
All right, I'm going to bargain. This isn't going to make any sense, okay?
I'm not budging, but continue.
I get 5 guesses, name an NBA player. If I miss on the 5, I get 1 MLB player guess for that 30. Or no, back to what it was.
For the 20. Sure. Fine.
Okay. And if I miss both, if I miss 6 with that caveat, I'll give you $5.
Okay. Fine.
I love, by the way, I've gone back and listened to all these. Every week is me adding like contract clauses to all of these bets. Like if A, then B. Okay. So, but I've got none of that's going to matter because I'm going to get an NBA player who's 37.
Yep.
Question in my head. I know it's not right, but it'd be pretty stupid if LeBron was 37. I think he's older.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Is that your guess?
I think he's 39. Okay. If I don't get it in 4, I'm coming back to him. But no. This is good. Don't psych yourself out, Jake. I'm going to start LeBron because it at least gives me a reference point.
Okay, 39. I guess it just popped up right there.
Look at him. Okay, does that count as a guess? What if I wanted to change it? Okay. Nope, what if I want to say Lamar Odom? Okay.
You can guess him.
He's 39.
He is.
Okay. That and the 37 is what I'm going for.
37.
I think. Oh God, or is he just 1 year younger? All right, we're good. That was a good starting point for me. I think Kevin Durant is 2 years younger than him. I'm going to go Kevin Durant.
Okay. Kevin Durant, 35.
35, a child.
True.
Okay, I'm psyching myself out because, all right, just play along with me at home. Finding someone who's that feels not right. Finding someone who's 2 years older than Durant, but 2 years younger than LeBron.
That's true. That's a weird space to be in.
It's a weird,
Pick a good number.
can I name someone who's not active?
Yeah. Well, sure, whatever.
No, you decide before I say a name. Or I can name active guys. I know I'm cheating a little bit.
No, for this edition, you can name active or inactive.
Because he could get signed by someone. And maybe this is dumb.
Yeah.
What if I say a dumb name and then you're like, great.
That's true. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar could be 37.
You know who feels like they're in between those two? And this is crazy because he doesn't play anymore.
Who?
Carmelo Anthony feels like he's between those two.
Okay. Is that the guess?
That's my guess is Carmelo.
Okay, so Carmelo was drafted the same year as LeBron. So I'm going to go with no, but not his son. He's going to be like
17.
42. 39 also.
God.
That's kind of surprising. That surprises me more, actually.
The only thing I knew is, okay, the Kevin Durant thing shook me. I wish I hadn't done that because that is really throwing me for a loop. Because
you get a freebie here. LaMelo is 22, so you can use that as well.
I didn't think if it pops up, could I use it?
No.
Okay, that's my third guess. Oh,
yeah, you got two more basketball guesses.
Okay. I'm just talking through one for content. Okay. So the content thing is I can't tell with my level of NBA fandom how old the average old NBA, like all I've heard of LeBron is why is a dinosaur walking the court. So I feel like Kevin Durant being 35 has shocked me a little. As
there aren't very many super old NBA players, it feels like.
No, and that's how come I went Carmelo, because I thought 37 would be like recently retired. Like my next, like I'm just talking through names that have come out. Chris Paul and Westbrook both feel younger than Durant. I think Westbrook is for sure. And so that, someone whose age I've got no clue on. Why would I guess this? But why do I feel like Marc Gasol is
where's he?
What is his age? He's for sure
True.
retired. He can't be that old.
I don't know. That's a great question.
That could be a separate thing. But what I'm really afraid of is I've got two guesses left, and I've kind of lost my like buoys.
Kevin Durant really fucked you up.
Why is he 2 years? Why is he 4 years younger? Like, what happened in those 4 years in the NBA? That's what I got to go back to. What happened in those 4? Ooh, I know one of the things that happened.
Okay.
Not currently in the NBA.
Okay.
Dwight Howard is younger than LeBron James and is older than Kevin Durant. I'm going to go Dwight Howard.
Interesting pick.
Jesus.
38. Ooh.
Okay, who's younger than Dwight Howard, but older than Kevin Durant.
It's your last
When's his
guess?
birthday?
December 8th.
Man, if only we'd played this
last season. I know.
Season. Okay, that has helped me a little. No, it hasn't. I don't know what I was trying to psych myself into. Okay. Trying to think. So I like that strategy of mine, thinking of like, so he was big in 2008. So thinking of someone who was big in 2009. Oh my God. Is this
Kevin Durant? LeBron? Carmelo?
All right, here are I'm going to do it. I can't believe this guy is my last guess.
Steve Nash.
The two guys I'm in
Stoudemire.
between are John Wall and Kemba Walker.
Okay. A couple guards.
Like late. It's not Kemba. Kemba's too young. I'm gonna go John. Oh, is that right? Is John Wall older than Kemba? Now I don't know where I am. Should I just go Marc Gasol? I'm gonna go.
You didn't guess Russell Westbrook. You were talking about him.
No, would you say he's older than Durant? I wouldn't.
Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion, man.
Fuck, you're right. P. Bev's probably somewhere in there.
He's always somewhere for sure.
The other name, other guard, but this guy's younger. I've already talked myself out of it, but I'm like, how old is Derrick Rose? But
interesting one.
Paul George is in there.
Playoff P.
Pandemic P going over 13. I'm gonna stick to the gun that felt best. I'm gonna go John Wall.
John Wall. Okay. I think he's 33. Yeah, he's not that old.
Jeez. Oh, I was way off. All right, Marc Gasol. Just for fun.
Just for fun. I have no idea, to be honest. 39.
Why didn't you ask me 39? I
want to know Chris Paul. 38.
37's tough.
37 is tough.
Russell?
No, he's gonna be younger.
35. Same age. Okay. Makes sense.
Okay, let's do your baseball player. We're gonna revisit this NBA one. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Okay. I've got a baseball player in the mid-30s.
For $20 to you or $5 for me.
Now you like that, right? Now that's simple, isn't it? Yeah. You like that.
How old is Derrick Rose? 35. Okay.
God damn, 37 was tough. I feel okay about that. This is a silly double or nothing by me. And let the kids at home, let this be a lesson. You win some, you lose some.
Whew.
Not me.
Okay.
I am gonna go 3 names just for the people at home. JD Martinez, I think, is 36. Paul Goldschmidt.
Curry.
Oh wow. Paul Goldschmidt, I think, is 36.
Okay.
I'm closing in. If you can't
Age
tell.
of consent in Wisconsin. Shout out Google. 18, by the way.
I thought you said 36. I was like, oh my God.
Oh.
A child. I'm gonna guess. How old is fucking Clayton Kershaw? Younger than I think, always. Paul Goldschmidt was playing in 2011. You are Googling who? Blake Griffin is an interesting guess. 35. We're all over that. Type in who was I just thinking of? Rudy Gay.
Ooh, very good one.
It was just so random though. I like
37.
Oh my God, Rudy Gay's 37. Can I get $5? Okay. I am gonna guess. I feel like I just know that JD Martinez's age is 36.
Did he have a birthday recently?
Is that a good strategy or bad strategy to get someone you know is close? Because I feel like if he comes up 36, I'm going to be pretty pissed at myself.
How about this? If JD Martinez is who you're talking about?
Yeah.
If he's 36 or 37, we'll be even for this game. So I'll still be up 10, but you don't owe me $5. If he's anything other than 36 or 37, still owe me the 5.
Well, I'm confident in that. So I'll go JD Martinez.
Okay. We'll see.
36 with a bullet. Okay. Can you type in Paul Goldschmidt for me?
Paul Goldschmidt.
Also 36. 37's fucking tricky. That's what I've learned.
One. Yeah. I was trying to make it a relevant player, but yeah, that was a weird little pocket to find ourselves in. Who's a 37-year-old football player?
I don't know. Okay, I would have gone the quarterback route, and I would have started with this is how I would have done it. I would have gone Russell Wilson.
I'm going to do this first. Robbie Gould. 41. Okay.
Yeah, way too old. Jesus.
Sorry. He seems young.
If I was any higher than the 40s, I would have been in kicker land. Okay, so if Russell's 35, see, this is my advantage with the NFL is I could tell you what year Russell was drafted.
True. That's true. I'm going to go with Matt Stafford. He might be a little older. 36. Ah.
All right. Well, then I think we've got it. My boy and your boy, Andrew Luck.
No. Is he 37? No.
34? I went the wrong way.
He's very old. He looks very old.
He served in the Civil War.
He did.
1 year older than Matthew Stafford?
Yeah.
Colt McCoy?
Colt McCoy.
No, wrong direction, right? Yeah.
I think so. I'll just do it.
Doesn't
Okay,
even
nobody
pop
knows.
up.
37. Okay. I mean, made us do a little work for it. But Colt McCoy, shout out.
He can't be the most famous quarterback in that draft class, can he? Is that Jake Locker's year? Is that what I'm getting stuck on? Is it that fucking like just desert?
Sam Bradford.
Oh, it is that desert.
Tim Tebow, is he 36? Okay.
That's young.
At best. Shout out. I miss him. Dexter McCluster. If you pulled that one for 37, 35. Darn it. That would have been an all-timer.
So Gronk is 37.
34. Gronk's a young man. Okay, so who's an NBA player that we pulled that was like, Gronk is 1 year younger than Kevin Durant
and Russell Westbrook. Yeah. That feels weird.
Yeah.
I feel like that is an interesting spot for NBA because I guess that's a gap for me of like the stars there. I feel like I got unlucky with Dwight.
I mean, no.
Dwight could have been 37.
He came in at 18. He was so young. So the game went as I thought it would.
Nothing happened and we split.
Well, no, it's just naming old names is fun. Let's figure out who.
I do that again. I know it's not good for the show, but I do one more round right now.
Oh, no, we gotta leave the people wanting more. I think this is going to be a reoccurring game, and I have a different iteration we could do for something different but similar in the future. But as it still stands, Jake, I'm up $10.
10.
That's not bad. Hey, you didn't lose ground this week.
No, I gotta resist my urges next week. See, next week I was planning on doing my version of the game with bury the lead, but I'm afraid it's going to be easy.
That doesn't matter. It's a
I mean,
long
it kind of
season.
does. Yeah, that's
Jake,
true.
it's a long season, and
it is a long season.
We have opportunities to win $20 in a week. 30. You could have won 30 this week. You could have been up 20.
Could have been. If only Rudy Gay had come to me faster.
That was a good pull. That was a great one.
Suddenly I'm just like, next was going to be Valenzuela. What's his name?
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Or Andrew Bogut.
Andrew Bogut's good. Are you talking about Varejo?
No, center for the Raptors who shot threes. Tall white guy.
I think I know who you're talking about. He was in the 3-point shooting contest a few times.
Uh-huh.
Boy, I don't know his last name.
Raptors center, 2013.
Is 2013 that time? Is that the right one? Okay, while you do that, Jake, can I talk about baseball? You've been like trying to not let me talk about baseball on this show.
Well, because I'm afraid of what you're going to say. Yeah, carry on.
Okay. I mean, we don't need to talk about how Shohei. Oh, he doesn't.
Jonas Valanciunas.
He's still in the NBA. He does not shoot threes. He can, I guess. He's not a 3-point shooter.
I loved him in 2K14.
Okay. Thought you were talking about a different white Raptors big man who was in the 3-point shooting contest. But who I can't fucking remember. I feel like his last name, Caponis?
Capone, his name
Jason Capono. Has to be Jason Capono. Let me look. I think I got to be right on that. Jason Capono. Shout out. 6'8". Big man to me. Same size to you, I guess.
That's weird to think of.
Okay. Anyway, let's end the show on this.
How old do you think Jonas Valanciunas is?
35, 34.
31.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he's a very current player.
Valanciunas and you were in high school together.
We were actually, we did swim together.
What stupid. You didn't even swim. He didn't swim. You didn't swim. It's good.
We walked
That's
around
good.
the pool together. We got doctor's note. You know, we played the game.
It's true. Remember that time you said an ex-girlfriend of yours looked like a beached whale?
I didn't say that. My words were twisted.
That's how I remembered. Sorry, that's below the belt by me. Hey, anything not to talk about
Caused
baseball.
problems, by the way, and my words were twisted, and everyone egged it on. But you know what? Kind of looks like a beached whale now. So who was wrong?
Jonas Valanciunas.
I guess Jonas. Okay, so we're not going to talk about AP being, in the right. To be honest, we won't do that. Jake, everyone's been trying to get me to like baseball for years. For a long time. And they're like, oh, you're going to like this. You're going to like this. And it's always like, oh, a pitch clock? Cool. Then I can watch.
No one's ever said that. No one's ever said you're going to love this pitch clock.
They have. I think you did. Everyone said
I said it helped because it made the game shorter.
Sure. And now we're going to bring in robots to make it slower. Like
I thought that was where this was going. I thought you were going to like the robots.
No, because you give them an inch, they take them out. First we have a robot fucking ump, and then we have a robot manager. And I don't know what they do, but that's not good. And then we have robots playing. We have robots pitching. We got robots commentating. I don't like it. I'm not doing that. Robots watching the game.
Zach barely could stand that robot on Fox Football.
We don't need to make him a thing. We got people who could do that. I'd rather watch Tim Tebow than I am. That robot, yeah. I mean, he is pretty old. He does seem like a fine guy. But no. There's a couple things I think we have found out. I mean, you've known, but the people, the fans of the podcast have found out. One, I love a good bit.
Time out.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you think that robot's name is?
It's got a name. I'm going to go with Brutus.
That's actually stupidly close. Cletus.
Cletus. That's a good name. I like that. Okay, I'm back in. He's a fine robot.
He was born in 2005.
Born?
Yeah. Created.
Okay.
Who could tell? Cletus can vote.
Cletus could vote. 2005. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, but one, I love a good bit. You know it. The people know it. Mm-hmm. And then two, to be honest, I love a heel. I root for the heels all the time.
I know. I think I know where this is going.
Jake, there's a great bit that has been in the MLB for a long time, and then people hate this guy right now. And for a long time.
I knew it. You're going to defend him.
Let's cut that clip here. We got, I'm not sure if people have recognized him, Angel Hernandez.
I knew it. I knew you. You love Angel ever since I brought him up a couple of years ago.
Well, he's getting a lot of heat lately, Jake, because listen here.
Whoa. 2-1. And oh my goodness. 2-2. You have got to be kidding me. What in the world?
So Angel Hernandez, someone call him a less than stellar umpire. I think he's funny as shit. And I think he makes baseball more interesting than anything that has ever made baseball interesting. I would tune in to watch him up a game.
I like that he's bad.
He's so bad. It's funny. It's great.
It is great. Something about that clip that I don't think gets enough love. It's in Houston. It is a Texas Rangers hitter. So that is Houston Astros commentators.
Oh, really?
Like for the opposing team being like, you've got to be joking. So that in itself is awesome. Like that's how come at first it's like, oh goodness, wow. And then just uncorked. I tell you what, Claire and I were talking about Angel as everyone should. So I agree with you that like honestly,
baseball.
he might be top 5 most famous people in baseball right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. A couple things about him I love. Number one, I truly think he loves a quick game. Like if you watch, he never misses a fucking strike. There are always strikes. You throw a ball, we're going home. I think he's the world's greatest third grade umpire. They just let him go up there like, hey, kid, swing the bat.
I love that. I mean, that's another pro in my column. There's 3 things I like about him then.
That's right. Thing 2, and maybe people know this, but in case you don't, it is essential knowing for Angel Hernandez. He sued the league because he was not given, it was his turn to be in a World Series a couple years back. They're on rotation. He was not allowed to ump in the World Series. So he sued them and he said, you're discriminating because I'm not white. You're discriminating against me. And in a court of law, you can look this up. In a court of law, MLB's defense was, we are not discriminating. You have not performed up to the standards of there's a U.S. court where they're like, we're not racist. You're terrible.
Great. It's a good, now he's like, oh, I'm bad. Now he's leaning into it. He doesn't think those are strikes. He doesn't give a fuck.
No. And by the way, this is why you're so right about where we've landed. We're at a stalemate, folks. We hate him. He knows it, and he can't get fired because he's a part of a union. And by the way, I'm pro-union, so I guess I'm pro-Angel Hernandez.
Boom. We got 2. Who else is going to join us?
I don't know. You should also look up Joe West. He's an umpire I think you would like. He's retired now, but he's bad. He once threw out a guy because he kept looking at him. And then when he came up to him, he said, well, you're looking at me.
I mean, hey.
He calls himself,
like Joey Crawford,
I think, the cowboy.
The cowboy as a that's great. That's really good, actually.
Now, Angel Hernandez it is wild that, like, an ump's so bad. Like, people are always shitting on umps. I think what makes Angel special is, like he's bad both sides. No one's ever been like, you're calling it against us. Oh, it's consistent.
Mm-hmm. He's just there to fuck shit up. The show is about him.
Yeah. I should let me see if I can quick pull up some player quotes on Angel Hernandez because they're not allowed to shit talk umpires. You know, they get fined for it and everything else. So all the player comments recently have been like, he's got a big zone. They can't exactly comment on it. I think it was Jeff McNeil who was just furious with him the other day. And I think he was like, Angel Hernandez sees things the way he sees them. And we're just trying to see it the same way.
That's right. I love that.
This is finding your attention. Like, what is it? You've just been enamored with Angel lately?
Well, I mean, he was trending. I think for that clip that I just played, people are fed up. He is single-handedly making people fine bringing in robots to replace jobs in terms of umpires. I love that, but we don't want to because it's Angel Hernandez. Apparently, players are still saying they like the human element, but that they know when they say that means Angel Hernandez is sticking around, and he's on borrowed time. He knows it. He's just going to do what he wants to do. And I love it. Again, he knows the bit, he leans into it, and he leads into the fact that he's a heel. I'm waiting for him to start pumping up the crowd after he makes one of those calls next. And it's going to be a great time for everybody. If I could buy Angel Hernandez gear, I will do that. I think he's fantastic.
I mean, you 100% look it up right now while I'm about to say something to the folks. You can definitely
let's see.
You can definitely look this up. This was 2017. So Angel Hernandez is not new, but that's, I think, what's been getting him attention is we're past the point of return. He knows it. We know it. So this Ian Kinsler got fined $10,000 as manager for making comments against him. And by the way, the umpires union was like, the verbal attack on Angel denigrated the entire MLB umpiring staff and is unacceptable. Kinsler's reaction to that was, I really don't think too deeply into it. I hope they wear the white wristbands for the rest of their careers. I don't care. Said what I felt and I thought, and he's just a bad ump. And I love that. That's a good quote.
That is a good quote. This is also a pretty good shirt. I don't like that we're calling him a clown, but I think it does the job. This is also a very colorful one. A shirt that says "Fuck Angel Hernandez" still has the clown in it. Lots of colors. You know what? Tune in to.
This is what he got fined $10,000 for after a second ball was called. Kinsler turned to Hernandez and said, "What about that one?"
That's it. We can't be fining people. That's not fun. I mean, we gotta let players shit talk Angel Hernandez, and we gotta let Angel Hernandez shit talk the players.
I think teams once a year should be able to like say Angels are ump today. You should be able to play him like a power card.
I like it. I would love to start a petition for him to be in the World Series this year. It's about time.
My thing, I'm not the first person to make this point. There's about 7 million umpires. That's not true. There's about 5 umpires on a field. He's fine most other places. He's not great at third base because he still has to call whether or not it's a swing, and he's messed that up before too. But
lots of stuff to look at.
I mean, 100%. John Boy does all those breakdowns. The one where he called a swing on Bryce Harper last year was incredible because Bryce walked over and said, "You're a fucking idiot." And Angel's response was, "Me? An idiot?" And it was, yeah, what do you mean? Who is he talking to?
Me?
Yeah, like, what? Yeah, I can't believe you're offended by that.
Yeah.
So I think what's alarming, but I love that you love him, is it's like it feels like an epidemic. Like it does feel like every time he umps, something else happens,
which is so fun. It's so funny.
Last thing he did, I didn't know you could screw that up. One of the batters turned around and says, "Do I have my time remaining?" And Angel Hernandez said, "Time." He called time.
Yeah.
And he said, "I asked if I had your time."
Funny, dude.
My favorite thing he does, this is the number one thing he does, and I know this is umpire speak. He's not the only one who does it, but because he gets called out all the time, he has to. That guy went, "I didn't call." He's like, "I didn't call time. I asked if I had my time left." And Angel went to him and says, "Nope, you call time." Mm-hmm. I love that it's like he just tells you what he said. The other day it was like, "You swung. That's why I called it." It's like, we just all saw the replay. I didn't swing. And Angel said, "Well, I would have called you not swinging, but you swung." Like it's just like he rewrites history.
Yeah. He just gaslights everybody.
"I'd apologize for being a Confederate, but we won."
Bingo. Do they have the ump assignments out for the entire season?
His crew, that's a great question. I don't know. I'm just short and sweet. I don't know.
Because I'm going to look into this. Because if so, you'll be able to find an article on Flurry Sports written by yours truly with every game that you have to watch this year. Because it's going to be every Angel Hernandez game. And I'll start watching baseball.
He set a bad record. Let's see what the record was that he set. Oh, I did hear this. The largest missed pitch by inches in the history. How far do you think it missed the plate by? The edge of the plate, people.
So is the edge of the plate technically where the strike zone's supposed to end? Or no?
Correct. So it's supposed to be. And by the way, that's what I'm saying, but the wording of it is it missed outside by blank inches.
Okay. I'm going to go with a foot. I'll give him a foot.
12. It's way too far, but it is the furthest ever. Angel Hernandez, almost 7 inches.
I mean, that's still close. You don't understand how fast they're throwing those.
I mean, really fast. By the way, all the idiots online, so many people on that clip that you showed, all the comments are like, "Hey, I think he's a bad ump, but he got that one right. That pitch started inside and it moved out." And I'm like, "Hey, guess what? It's a fucking camera. It moves side to side. No pitch moves. You think that pitch moves 7 inches horizontally?"
I'm just going to start every time someone posts a video of Angel Hernandez. That's going to be my comment, by the way.
If I jumped 6 inches left, it'd be pretty cool.
It'd be great. Yeah. It's so
standing
far.
Jump almost 7 inches. Yeah, it is. But by the way, good for the sport, I think.
Great. It gets eyes on the product.
It's sincerely like he's all over social media every time he ups.
I don't remember the last baseball highlight I've watched on social media before that. It's always Angel Hernandez stuff, and it's great.
It's either that or, I mean, you loved last year when that one guy just knocked out the other player.
Oh, he was on my fantasy team. Ramirez, right?
Yeah, Ramirez, J-Ram. You didn't get him
Dog.
this year.
No, he's a dog, though. I'll be making a trade for him.
Dog. Oh, no, I know. Zach, I've got one random thing to end the show on if you're cool with it.
Absolutely.
I was scrolling through Facebook today, Zach, and what is the theme of this season? Tell the people at home, what's the theme of this season for our show?
We're trying to find Emily Love. It's a season of love.
That's correct. And Zach, they say love comes in different shapes and sizes. It comes from the most unlikely of places. And Zach, if you will allow me, the most unlikely of places was this ad. And I really want to see if I can find the reel that they posted today, because the wording of it is crazy. What company do you think was advertising a dating service today?
Wow. Just trying to think what would make sense to have users. I don't know. ESPN.
Oh, that would be smart. That'd be really good.
Okay.
Oh, Zach, I can't find the exact wording, so I will just tell you what just tell you what it is, and maybe you'll have better luck looking than I will.
Yeah.
Zach, it's Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's new seductive singles marketing campaign.
What? Okay, what I found was just different. Jimmy John's did a speed dating thing back in 2014.
And I think it might be back because on the post today. Okay, you know what? Keep it busy for a second. You talk about Jimmy John's. I've got it on my phone. The exact wording of the reel I sent to our sister today.
Okay, I just found an article from BuzzFeed News in 2018. This woman found out her boyfriend was cheating after a Jimmy John's delivery guy caught him in the act. That sounds like a pretty good one. Iowa, that makes sense. In a series of tweets on Wednesday, they told the dramatic story. Boyfriend texted me a little bit, letting him know that he was going to take a nap. So I'd sent him a text saying, "Hey, food's on the way for you. Please leave a tip." I didn't hear back from him for a bit, so I just assumed he was sleeping.
They say I don't go to great lengths for the show. Okay, no one said
Okay.
that. I'm back.
Did you find? Okay.
Are you ready, Zach? This
Sure.
was on my Facebook reel today. Are you single and hungry for something new? From Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's is looking for a group of singles who want a taste of love. Could that be you? If you know someone who would be a perfect fit, nominate them or yourself below. We've done it, Zach. We found the calling. I said to Deborah, and she said, "What is this?" And I said, "Your future."
Yeah, it's your golden ticket. Like, what are we talking about? So how do we nominate Emily Osmond for this?
Well, I'm going to send you the link right now. I'll send it to your Facebook thing, and we're going to nominate her right here. But I can't figure any details on, that's what it says. So I like the ambiguousness of it is do you know a single person? So I sent it to Emily, and actually my first message is, I think this is a trap, but if it's not, you should do it. It feels like a human trafficking ploy.
It does seem that way. Yeah, let me know when you said that. I left the people on a cliffhanger, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I was reading a story about someone found out their boyfriend was cheating on them because from a Jimmy John's delivery. So the boyfriend said he was going to take a nap. Girlfriend texted him being like, "Okay, just so you know, food's on the way. Make sure to leave a tip." Then she didn't hear anything from him. And it turns out the Jimmy John's delivery driver called her. I was like, "Hey, we don't usually do this, but just so you know, your boyfriend's cheating on you." So good guy delivery, freaky fast delivery, so fast and great service, by the way. I hope he got a good tip, But
By the way, I'm being called out because I sent it to you in our I sent it to you in our family group chat, and Emily said, "Why are you sending this here too?"
because we need to know. Okay, yeah. So are you single and hungry for something new? Jimmy John's is looking for a group of singles who want a taste of love. Could that be you? If you know someone who's perfect, would be a perfect fit, nominate them or yourself below. So just in the comments.
Must be.
Okay. 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 So it's going to be on Instagram. So go to the Jimmy John's Instagram and you can comment Emily Osmond and tag Flurry Sports. How about that? Tag at Flurry Sports _ and say
She's gonna be
Emily
so
Osmond.
mad.
We don't need to take her actual Instagram. No need for that. But if we
She
can get
doesn't-
them,
Is your name Jimmy? Is your name John?
yeah, everyone needs to go do this at Jimmy John's on Instagram. Emily Osmond, tag Flurry Sports _ We got to beat out Renee, who looks to be in the lead here. Single and missing the barbecue ranch chicken crunch. We'll have to find a new love to go with the pesto, bow tie, pasta salad, and pickle.
Zach, I don't have
Pitch.
Instagram, but can you comment that Emily Osmond's looking for the big tuna?
Okay, Emily.
She might legit be furious. I can't tell.
For the big tuna. I'm going to do capitalized. All caps.
Technically,
big
it's called the
tuna.
totally tuna. Does the joke still work?
Yeah. Okay, we gotta find a good emoji to use here. Should we put the whale with the water spout coming out or no? Is that good enough for a big tuna?
Heart.
Well, yeah, we'll include a heart for sure, but do we want a sandwich?
You got a
Do we
fish?
A whale's a fish.
I think there's some connotations. Let's go fish.
Okay, there's a little fish, there's a rainbow fish, there's a puffer fish, there's a shark, there's a dolphin,
Go.
a regular whale, and a whale with waters coming out the top.
I kind of like dolphin or shark.
Shark, I think, is too aggressive. We can go dolphin, and then I'll go. Where are the hearts on this thing? I'm on a desktop, which is weird. We'll go heart with a arrow. Oh no, we'll do the two hearts, and we're gonna go Mrs. Claus, as in Santa.
What are you talking about?
There's an emoji for Santa and Mrs. Claus, and I just did Mrs. Claus.
Why?
So, Jake, gotta be different. Gotta
I'm
stand out from the crowd.
scared now. I didn't mean to open up this can of worms for me.
Oh, it didn't do Mrs. Claus. That's weird. I don't like that. But
Leave it simple. We want her to get picked.
Well, yeah, of course. But definitely go and comment for yourself as well. I did all I can do.
Please let us know what the hell this is, by the way.
Yeah, Jimmy John's. I'm going to DM Jimmy John's on Twitter.
And by the way, Emily, even if this dating thing doesn't work, I think you could win free Jimmy John's.
Yeah, which I wouldn't personally want, but if you do, more power to you.
Oh no, we're blowing up.
This could be very fun. This could be very, very fun. So
the future's now. Hey, thanks for listening, folks. You can only get that here.
Zach and Jake bringing the heat. Funny sports talking every week. Bury the lead, historical, hysterical, isn't it neat? The pod is never a bit dull. Last week's show, what a blast. Pete hates Tom Izzo, it happened so fast. But he loves Greg Carr, he's not treated fairly because he looks like lard. Flurry Sports Podcast, we're taking you higher. Talking sports with a comedic fire. Join the fever, jump into the mix. Zach and Jay, Flurry Sports, let's get on.